The second principle in resolving conflict in marriage constructively is that wording matters. One of the things that makes conflict so difficult to resolve constructively is that when we're upset with our spouse, we have all these feelings and these emotions, and we don't know what to do with those. And what we do with those emotions and how we come across to our spouse is either going to resolve the conflict or make things worse.
Yeah, and so often one of the reasons why we don't engage in talking about things or we brush them under the rug is that we have no reasonable belief that talking about it will actually make it go better.
Well, yeah, because in the past, history would tell us that it hasn't gone well. If you haven't learned to resolve conflict well, you just fight, you blow up, and then you just sweep it under the rug and nothing gets resolved.
Yeah, you hear people talk about the phrase emotional safety in a relationship, and they can be referring to different things. But as it relates to resolving conflict, I think a great working definition of emotional safety is really just having a belief that if we talk about it, that we can make things better, as opposed to if we talk about it, things will get much worse.
Yeah, so when you have a conflict, try to resolve it using this kind of phrase. When this happened, it made me feel like this because of this reason. That helps you to be able to really frame things in a way that they're going to be able to understand, and it's not accusatory.
Yeah, when you don't do that, which you do what is human nature, and you phrase, here's what's happened, and here are your motives for why it happened, well, things go something like this.
Yeah. So let's just give you an example on this. Let's say Derek comes home late. He comes home at like 9 and I'm expecting him at 6. And if I address him like this, Derek, you're home at 9. You were supposed to be home at 6. I tried calling you. You didn't answer your phone. You didn't even call me. That's so selfish.
Selfish? Really? That's what you're going to say I am? The only reason I'm having to work so many hours is because you spend money like it's going out of style.
What? I
and
spend
then
money?
You gripe about it.
No, you're the one who wanted to buy that expensive car. And so on it goes, and you're fighting about something completely different, and you escalate, and it gets worse and worse. Does any of this sound familiar? We do it all the time. So try phrasing things after you've taken that time out. When things are starting to get heated, you're not going to resolve it. You take that time out and you phrase it more like this. So, Derek, you're home at 9. I thought you were going to come home at 6, and I couldn't get a hold of you. I tried calling. I was really concerned, and I also felt unconsidered because I had dinner ready for us at 6.
So when she communicates like that, the odds of me really connecting with her heart and giving her what her heart needs, which is for me to connect with the fact that she felt concerned. With the fact that she felt not considered when I didn't call and was unreachable. Well, the odds of that going well are much greater when it's presented in that sort of format of here's what happened and here is the impact that it had on me.
Yeah, and it's hard to do that. First, it takes discipline to decide I'm going to phrase it like this and intentionality. But also it's vulnerable. You're sharing your emotions, and those are more vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. When you share your vulnerable emotions and you put yourself out there, there's a risk to that. If I share my vulnerable emotions and they aren't received, it's almost worse than if I hadn't shared those vulnerable emotions at all. And so when we do that, we take a risk. And so it's super important for the person who's responding to be able to respond well. And we'll talk about that in a later video. But to be able to word it well is so key.
Yeah, the thing with vulnerable emotions too is when you share that, it brings you together. When you share those reactive emotions, those angry, hurtful emotions, and present it in that way, it pushes you further apart. So understanding that sharing it in that way and how wording matters to resolve conflict is going to give you the chance to really be able to get to the bottom and make things better.